Hello, my name is Frank, and welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. Um, anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, you guys, you gotta check out Siyeon from Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher is a K-pop group that I like, but I don't think I've ever talked about them, or maybe once or twice, whatever. I don't know. I've done like 600 shows. Um, but anyway, she's really pretty. So anytime I have a revelation of a woman who's attractive, I always bring it to your attention. So Xian, it's spelled Siyeon, but it's pronounced Xian. Um, she's just the main vocalist of the group. The group is named Dreamcatcher. She's hot. I would just recommend it. Okay. Well, for all the heterosexual men that are listening to this. Anyway, um, something made me laugh the other day. I saw a article, and once again, anything you see on the internet, take it with a grain of salt, because every single thing lies to you. That's all I gotta say. There's been some numbers that have been grossly undercounted. I'm not saying what because YouTube doesn't want us to talk about it, but there have been some numbers that have been greatly undercounted in New York. And that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, um, I'll read the title to this one article, but I'm not going to read the article. How a transgender Ukrainian man escaped Russia's invasion. Quote, I painted my nails violet and wore my mom's t-shirt to look more girly. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, in Ukraine right now, it is illegal for a man between the age of 16 to 60 to leave the country. They have to stay and fight. So there is a transgender man who, of course, wanted to be a man, but when it came time to really being a man, he switched back to being a woman. Um, all the benefits, but none of the downfall. Um, so if this transgender man was really a man, see, here's the thing. Some people want you to believe that a transgender man is the same as a man. Like a real man, just like a transgender woman is the same as a woman. But there's this thing called biology. I'm just saying. So, I don't, if we all want to follow the science, then we have to admit that a transgender man isn't a man and a transgender woman isn't a woman. But anyway, I digress. Um, I'm only digressing because that's my favorite word. If you listen to this show, you know that digress is my favorite word. Anyway, so this transgender man, when he realized, and I'm so confused, I guess, when he realized that, oh, I have to stay and fight, he quickly went back to being a woman. And to be a woman, I guess, I don't, there's no picture. To be a woman, to look more feminine, he painted his nails and wore his mom's shirt. Um, how quickly the radical ideas go out the window when the shit hits the fan. You're living a life of luxury. You have first world problems when you can do this. So it's almost in a way, you got to be thankful we live in a world like this where you can do this, because this is some first world drama right here. first world trauma. And if this person switches back to being a guy, that's just insulting. Because if you do that, it just shows how frivolous this whole thing is. If you believe so strongly that you want to start living your life as the opposite sex, but then when things get hard, pun intended, you switch back. You switch back to what Mother Nature wanted you to be. That says something to me. That says to me that you actually were just not, in your own eyes, probably attractive enough, and you thought, oh, it'd just be easier to be a guy instead of trying to be feminine. To me, that's what I think would happen, and that's what happens to like a lot of women because they don't think they fit society's femininity standards. I've um, I've read several posts on Twitter. Can't believe I just said that. But anyway, the other day was a national trans what is it called? Um, like trans demission day. All these stupid words. You know how trans people transition? Okay, well some of them decision. Is is that what it's called? Whatever. Some of them switch back. So it was like national switch back to what you're supposed to be day. Okay. And a lot of the women who switched back said that that they didn't like the idea of what society's norms were to being feminine, and so they didn't think they could do it. Some of them were suffering from gender dysphoria and switched back because they didn't actually want to be a guy. They were just suffering from gender dysphoria, and when they got it, when they got the proper counseling, they're like, "What am I doing?" So they switched back. And then some people said, well, I'm sorry, one person I read said she had a feminist mother and she just didn't like the ideas of what her mom put into her head about uh, being a woman, so she switched to being a guy. But anyway, once again, I'm just saying, like when the going gets tough and you switch back, to me that means you had no convictions, and the reason why you did it was trivial. But I'm glad this person did not give their name, obviously. Well, they gave their boy name, but that's not the real name. Anyway, I'm glad this person got out and is safe. But I just hope this person realizes that, you know what, um, if I'm not gonna be a man the whole time, then I should probably just, stop playing dress up. And there's a big difference between men and women, like men fight the wars, men build all the infrastructure, men do the hard physical jobs, men do the most dangerous jobs. But that's okay. It doesn't mean men are better, it just means physically men and women are different. And this thing called testosterone that men have, which makes them more competitive, makes them try more dangerous things. There is a difference between men and women. That's all it is. And women are better at raising kids. Women are better at social skills. Doesn't mean doesn't mean women are better. Doesn't mean men are better. But I just think it's time people, like, I wish there was a movement where people were just proud and satisfied of just being who they really were. When I mean who you really are, meaning how you're born, and just being the best self you can be without pretending to be the opposite sex of yourself. Because it just messes up society. Yes, I said it. Society falls when when men and women are different. I mean, when men don't know that they're men and women don't know that they're women. Like when gender issues is a problem, society falls. You look it up. All great societies that have fallen were having the same problems. It was gender issues. Now I understand wars and all that stuff, but society at the same time all this was happening, they were having gender issues, and it just I love how uh, we say we have to learn from history so it doesn't repeat itself. But how many times is history going to repeat itself? We've seen it happen the past 2 years. History repeating itself, where leaders are trying to turn a certain segment of the population against another segment of the population by dehumanizing them. We've seen that before in the 40s. And then, the reason why we teach that stuff in school is so we don't repeat it, but yet we keep repeating it. And the public is stupid too, giving the government power, and the government never gives the power back. But anyway, too bad we don't repeat like the Revolutionary War. Need to repeat that, but you're too busy worried about your gender, and that's why stuff like this happens. You're worried about should you paint your nails today, or should you wear combat boots today, instead of like worrying about the real problem, like the government overreach, crap like that. But anyway, um, how the hell can the first thing I talked about was this hot K-pop chick, then I go on this rant. Anyway, back to the K-pop thing. Um, yeah, like let me talk about Dreamcatcher real quick. Like Dreamcatcher is a seven-member Korean pop group. With seven girls, all biological, real women. Um, anyway, they're basically, how do you say, like like Baby Metal, the Japanese like death metal band, and it's like they got the three cute Japanese chicks that sing and dance, and it's like they look the complete opposite of the music that's playing, because they're all cute and poppy, and behind them it's like "Arr, arr." Okay, so anyway, Dreamcatcher is a Korean pop group where the seven girls look like like they're all hot. I'm not saying Siyeon is the only good looking member, but she's the best looking member. Anyway, the music that their group has is like heavy metal. So it's kind of cool seeing a K-pop group. Well, I think as far as I know, the only K-pop group that has like hard rock music behind them. It's like I don't, it's really hard to classify music these days. It's a mix between hard rock and death metal. So it's like they sound close to baby metal, but they're not as hard as baby metal because it is K-pop. Like they're dancing and stuff. Um, I do recommend checking them out. And Dreamcatcher is also considered one of the best dancing groups. Like their choreography is really good. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know if they're actually good dancers or if the choreography is really good. Either way, they're good dancers, and some of their, at least when I look at them, and I've been a connoisseur of K-pop since the 90s, so I think I know a good group and good choreography when I see it, and good dancers when I see them. They're, well, and granted, the men dance better than the women, just whatever. But, at least with the girl groups, they're, if not the first, they're the second best um, girl group when it comes to dancing and choreography. But if you want to take all the K-pop groups put together, they're definitely top 10. There's, there's definitely some guy groups that dance better than them. But at least for the women, they're either one or two. It could be argued, so they're like top two. But yeah, Shun is really attractive, and the only thing you have to do is type in her name, type in Dreamcatcher, and then her name, and you'll see a lot of good images. And if you're a man of culture, and I know all of you are, or a woman of culture, you will thoroughly enjoy looking at her. Anyway, I've said enough. I will talk to you guys later. I hope you've enjoyed this 15 minutes and 23 seconds of bullshit. Peace.